Thank you for joining us today for the JioGlass Developers Connect session. We at JioTesseract are committed to inspire, educate, and create robust networking platforms for people and businesses and bring transformation with the power of XR. My name is Karan Nirmal and I work as a marketing manager at JioTesseract. I'd like to welcome you all and setting some context about our topic of discussion for the day. As we all know, stories have the power to charm and influence and even change our behavior. What we remember the most are experiences we come across daily and basically how that makes us feel, right? In this world of digital natives, audiences are immersed in a sea of digital where other forms of content compete for our attention. For the first time in history, we have the power to create digital worlds of our choosing. And the metaverse is here to take you to the world of limitless possibilities. So, coming to the context of the topic today, we are going to discuss how to get started with your extended reality app development and its marketing journey. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome our speaker for the day, Digvijay Goswami, to commence this session. Digvijay, all to you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Karan. Welcome everyone to this Dev Connect session of Jio Tesseract. I'm Digvijay and I manage developer relations and partnerships here at Jio Tesseract. Firstly, I'm super excited about this session because here at Jio, we've been working on some path-breaking technologies lately. We're very close to the launch of our JioGlass within the next 3 to 4 months time now. And right now, we're super excited to kind of get to this point where kind of we're discussing how to kind of build for the XR industry and kind of also market applications in the right manner, right? So to begin with, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share my screen, share a PowerPoint presentation so that all of you be on the same lines. Yeah. So firstly, what I would like to do is that I would like to quickly talk about us as a company, right? I don't know how many of you all know what Jio Tesseract is and like how we kind of ended up where we are right now, right? So everyone kind of knows the kind of work that Jio has been able to do with regards to internet penetration in the country, right? I still remember this was sometime in 2017, 18, and back then internet used to be extremely expensive. A GB of internet was almost about $250, and every month I would only get a quota of about 2 to 3 GB of internet to kind of do every single thing that I want to do on the internet. And then Geo comes into the picture, and then kind of it disrupts the entire space, and internet, the cost of accessing internet kind of goes down um, significantly. And over a period of time, we end up onboarding a massive population onto our platform. So yeah, that's what we've been doing at Geo. And then now coming to Geo Tesseract. So our team initially used to be was initially a startup incubated by MIT's Media Lab. But so this was in sometime 2015 when we got incubated by MIT's Media Lab, and over the last couple of years, just recently in 2019 is when Reliance Industries invested into us, and now we're a subsidiary of Reliance Industries. So yeah, so this is where we are right now as Geo Tesseract. Like I mentioned, we are MIT Media Lab spin-off, and we currently have a vision of democratizing mixed reality in the country with the help of meaningful extra experiences that we are able to create. We as a company, Geo Platforms, some of the top companies in the world have invested into us, the likes of Google, Facebook, Qualcomm, KKR, TPG. A lot of these companies have invested into us. Um, just to let you guys know about the vision of the company, right? So for a lot of companies operating in this space, right, like Facebook's Oculus or Microsoft HoloBoard, mostly these companies are operating in this XR device space, where we're also trying to operate at this point. What we're currently doing at Geo is that we're building this entire end-to-end ecosystem where we have on one side this XR devices that we're creating to begin with. Like we plan to launch the GeoGlass sometime in the month of September this year. And on the other side, what we have is the entire network infrastructure to kind of power the XR ecosystem, right? So currently at Jio, we already have about 500 million subscribers in our 4G and fiber network. And what we plan to do over a period of time is that we're launching 5G. And with 5G, what will happen is that we have this entire technological stack that can potentially power this entire XR ecosystem. Because what this ecosystem needs is high speed internet connectivity, and 5G and fiber is kind of really well placed to be able to take care of the entire internet requirement that XR ecosystem kind of needs at this point in time. So to kind of get started and to kind of get to extended reality, right? I would like to talk about the phase of internet where we are in right now, which is Web 3.0, and how it began, right? So we're coming from a point of Web 1.0, which was the initial form of internet, wherein everything on the internet was readable, right? You only had text, you had emails, you had websites that you could just go and read content on, a lot of blogs. So that was Web 1.0 and the initial form of internet. Then came in Web 2.0, or the current kind of internet that we have right now, right? So our current internet has a lot of videos, a lot of audio, a lot of multimedia content that we see through our mobile phone or our laptop, right? So that is the current Web 2.0. And now coming to the kind of internet that we are heading into, right? So like I mentioned, first version of internet was read only. Second version of internet was read only plus a lot of video content, audio content, right? Now Web 3.0 is the future of internet, where content is over a period of time going to be more and more immersive, right? So here currently we are at this point where Web 3.0, unlike Web 2.0 or Web 1.0, is like a decentralized system. And at the same time, Web 3.0 kind of opens up a lot of opportunities for the entire developer ecosystem, right? And with Web 3.0, then a part of the Web 3.0 is the metaverse, right? So metaverse is this virtual world that we're trying to build on the internet, where we can have immersive experiences, right? So that is where we at Jio kind of thought that we really want to venture into this space, because that is the future of the internet. And that's how we kind of came up with the JioGlass. And if I were to show you what the JioGlass looks like currently, this is not exactly how the final product will look like, but this is kind of very close to what the final product is going to look like. So yeah, so we're at this point where, with regards to Web3, we want to reach a point where we can make the metaverse accessible for the common man. Like I said in the beginning, we want to democratize mixed reality for the country. So we've built the JioGlass, and with regards to JioGlass, how we've kind of built the entire Appstore strategy, or our content strategy, is that we've divided it across three categories: watch, learn, and play. So under the watch category, we currently have a lot of applications, in-house applications like Jio Cinema, Jio Studios, and all of that. Under the learn category, we have a lot of K to 12 and a lot of edtech content that will sort of help people to kind of uh, get better learning experiences. And on the play side, we have a lot of gaming content. So far on our platform, we've already onboarded a lot of games on our platform, but we're hoping to build this entire platter of games that we have currently. And if we were to look at the some of the features or capabilities of JioGlass, we've got spatial audio, we've got like 3D video content, and you, as and when you wear the JioGlass, there's this full-blown 150-inch screen that kind of opens up in front of you, right? So this kind of unlocks this entire world of possibilities that was previously not possible elsewhere. So at this point, where I've covered what we are as a company, what we do as Jio Tesseract, and what we're doing with JioGlass, right? Like I mentioned, what we're doing at JioGlass. And now I would like to come to the core of this topic, right? How do you kind of, as a developer, how do you kind of come to us, pitch an app idea to us, and get to a point where your application is live on the JioGlass store, right? So this is exactly where we're at, how to create an XR application concept. So every other day, we keep receiving a lot of emails and a lot of queries from developers on like what exactly to sort of build build for the JioGlass. There's so much to be done in this space, so we kind of tend to get get confused on like how to kind of build the right kind of application concept. So to begin with, like this is something that we advise to all of our developers, right? To begin with, it's very important that you define your right target audience, because at the end of the day, it's super difficult to kind of come up with an application idea when you don't know who you're sort of building for, right? So one advice to all of our developers is that you should first kind of really define your audience. Just to give you an idea of some of the kind of consumers that we're hopefully catering to with JioGlass and mixed reality, is that the first category that we're seeing here, right? So the first category is of the grandparents. Then the category is of the father, mother. Then there's this one person in the house that is kind of the early technological adopter. He's kind of trying out everything. So this is like a tech-free gamer. Then we have a millennial aunt, and then a digital native kid, right? So basically, this entire space where we're that we're kind of trying to kind of cater into is like really huge. So in the beginning, if you think that you want to kind of build an application, right? So you have to think of who is it that you're kind of trying to build the application for. Is that application meant for say someone in the age group of 5 to 10, or is that application meant for someone in the age group of say 13 to 16, or say 16 to 19, right? So that's like the basic idea of identifying who you're kind of building for, right? And yeah. So once you kind of have a decent idea of who you're building for, what kind of potential user personas they have, right? What kind of a personality that person has. Next is that you kind of get your description. You sort of write a description and get an app name ready, right? This app name can always be changed once it has been onboarded on our platform. But just to begin with, you kind of get your description ready. You get your app name ready, and then post that you kind of list down all of the key features that can potentially be there on your application, right? So just I think this was just yesterday, we had to kind of work on some use cases with the 5G team of Jio, and we were tasked with kind of creating some new 5G use cases, right? So when I was kind of going through that particular activity, I constantly was trying to list down every single key feature that particular 5G use case is going to have, that, right? So I would list down all of the key features, and then next propose that we have to define the content that needs to be covered, right? So when I say what kind of content, right? So if it's like a gaming application, right? For example, if it's a gaming application like GTA, I mean, I'm just taking an example here. So there's like different kinds of
Hello.
content that needs to be covered in this entire journey, right? So we kind of define the content that needs to be covered after listing down the key features, and then post that you as a developer kind of think of the entire scope and the delivery timeline. So right now we're pushing for applications that can be sort of ready for the B2C launch that is expected to happen sometime in the month of August, but we're also accepting applications for future timelines, right? So you kind of decide, you kind of think about if this is your entire application concept, these are all of your key features. What now you have to figure out what's your final scope and delivery timeline. Once this entire step is done, your app concept is ready, and then your app concept is kind of with us, right? So just to let you know how this entire process works, is that first you reach out to us with your app concept, and post that what we do is that we sit here internally and kind of go through every single app concept that we receive, and what we try to do is that we try to evaluate it based on what we're trying to achieve for the end consumer, right? So, and if we as a team feel that that particular application could make sense for the platform, we kind of get all of the legal documentation done, and you get this development kit called the Hollow Board. So Hollow Board is basically one of our old devices that we had launched prior to the JioGlass. So we send you a Hollow Board. Your app concept is now ready. So you're kind of building the entire application on Unity, and side by side testing it out, testing out your application using the Hollow Board. Uh, So yeah, so this is sort of the entire process of kind of getting your app concept ready. In my previous PowerPoint, I mentioned, right, you kind of define your target audience, you know what your platform that you're building for, what kind of an application flow that you have, and this is how your entire application intent kind of gets ready, right? And the process of application development is where you kind of have the hollow board, you have the SDK plus documentation, then you get the 3D modeling done, you get the entire coding processes done, right? So that kind of leads to a point where your kind of application is almost ready. But how do you make your application consumer ready is the question, right? Because if we were to, like, the beginning of our topic, right, or topic of discussion, it's how to build XR application and also kind of what are its underlying marketing strategies, right? So we're at this point where our probably application is the app development is done now. How do we make it consumer ready? Right now, currently here at JioTesseract, what we're doing to make applications consumer ready is that we've started customer trials. So currently, a JioGlass is deployed at multiple households here in Bombay. And what is happening in these households is that we are constantly testing out usage across all of the categories of people that exist in a particular household and kind of monitoring data, right? So with all of the feedback that we're receiving from consumers on our application, we're trying our best to kind of incorporate their application into feedback and kind of making our applications more and more consumer ready. However, if you were strictly to ask me, how do you make your application consumer ready, strictly from the developer standpoint, right? I would probably bring you to this part of my presentation, which talks about engagement from consumers, right? So to make something consumer ready, it has to kind of drive a lot of engagement compared to something that is not consumer ready, right? So how do you basically generate more engagement on an application? I'm sure engagement as a topic has been discussed across multiple formats, right? So we're coming from a time where mobile engagement, web engagement, these are metrics that we kind of track on a regular basis if we're running a mobile application business, right? So if we have a mobile application or a web app, engagement metrics are everything, right? And engagement can mean different things for different kinds of applications. For a content product, engagement can mean something like how much time are you kind of watching the content, reading the content. For something like a game, it can mean the overall amount of time spent on that particular game, right? But here are some things on the side that kind of really enhance engagement, right? So firstly, content, right? So if it's a game, right, there should be more levels and stuff, because if it just has one or two levels, then it's like an end for the consumer, right? So he's there on your application, they start your application, and in sort of no time, because you don't have enough levels, that kind of entire game ends. Then next is 3D content, learning modules, content interaction, and multiple animations. So there's one bucket where you kind of sort out the entire content ecosystem on your application to sort of drive engagement from consumers. Next is visual and audio graphics, right? So you need to try and ensure that the graphics that you're kind of creating for your application is extremely high quality. Next is no bugs, because honestly, no one likes bugs, right? So sort of like what happens whenever there's a buggy application on my phone, at least, is that I never want to go back to it, because I know kind of it slows down my phone or my device, and I just don't feel like opening that application. So make sure that your entire application doesn't have any bugs. Next is UI UX. So right now, UI UX is something really important, like how you like kind of design that entire user experience, and the entire user interface is really important, because for I think a great example of phenomenal UI UX for me personally is WhatsApp, right? The reason why I feel they have great UI UX is because if you go to WhatsApp, no one needs to tell you probably what is the next action that you need to take, or kind of what is it that you need to do. It's very self-explanatory, even for someone who's probably using that app for the first time. On the first go itself, once you come on the application, you sort of know how to kind of type in a message, how to send a message, right? Because the UI UX is so user friendly. Next is features. Like this is definitely the core, right? So what kind of features are you sort of able to provide for the people kind of using your application? Next is application interaction. So you need to ensure that the entire experience that you're building for the end user is extremely interactive, right? Because all of these things can kind of drive engagement. So like these are some things things that kind of uh, get your application to like a consumer ready state. So I'd like to quickly kind of take you through like how we plan to sort of take this to market and what's our go to market strategy, right? So like I already mentioned that we already have over 500 million subscribers across the entire Jio ecosystem, right? Currently with 4G fiber, and soon as and when we open up Jio 5G, what's going to happen is that we're sort of capturing into this entire new market, right? So as of now, our current plan is that we want to bundle the JioGlass with with the current Jio set-top box and offering that we have. So the Jio set-top box is currently deployed across 3.5 million households, and it's currently growing at a rate of 20,000 people. So imagine the kind of potential scale that we will be able to hold on to if we're able to sort of launch it just according to our current plan here, right? Next, what I want to discuss is what should be your marketing strategy, right? So far what we've covered is how to build XR applications, right? So we all currently know how to send us an application concept, what kind of applications that you could potentially cater to, right? So now we're coming to a guide to marketing your XR application. So let me like give you guys a disclaimer that I know that sort of right now we're at this point where marketing your extra application seems difficult because all of these platforms are not out there like similar to like a platform an application on your mobile phone or say the web for which you can run multiple forms of like app traffic acquisition advertisements, right? So something like that is obviously like all of that those full blown capabilities don't exist. But if we look at the entire fundamentals of kind of how to market an application, right? So it's very important, like I mentioned in the previous PowerPoint, right? To kind of understand your target segment. Who are you sort of building for? Is it a college student that you're building for? Is it like a school kid that you're building for? Is it parents that you're building for, right? So it's super important that you kind of conduct market research to understand your potential customers. And once you kind of understand that, you need to create user personas. So this is something that, in my experience, in the last couple of years, every time we need to come up with a new product or every time we need to launch sort of a new idea, we always kind of come up with user personas. User personas are nothing but who's basically the potential customer for you, right? So it can be someone in the age group of 18 to 24, someone doing a job in, say, Delhi with an income range of, say, 5 to 10 lakhs per annum. So these are sort of the kind of user personas that one could create. Next is conduct a competitor analysis, right? So this is something that is really important. So uh, if you want to be able to market your application at the end of the day, right, you need to understand what your competitors in that particular space are doing, right? So if you were to look at the current existing Oculus store that's there, right? So if you were to probably build an application, say, so currently for JioGlass, we get a lot of similar app concepts, right? So it's very important for you to kind of go on the internet and research like what other companies are probably building similar applications. If they already have an application similar to what you have in your mind, how do you sort of create a better offering than what they already have, right? Because it sort of doesn't make sense to have two similar kind of applications if they don't provide any additional utility, right? Next is creating a website or landing page. So this is really important currently as well because this is the primary form of discovery currently because so many people are just existing on websites on their mobile or sort of their laptop through which they then go to a browser and sort of search for good content, right? So it's very important that you sort of create a good website or a landing page. Next is outreach initiatives for sure. You need to reach out to people, tell them what you're building on. Next is promoting on social media. Even now, promoting any form of work that you're doing on social media is really helpful. It might probably not be possible to kind of promote your entire end application on social media because the experience might not be possible on a mobile phone. But there is no harm sort of promoting the experience on social media, right? Because if you guys remember, sometime last year when sort of Facebook came up with Meta and changed its entire name from Facebook to Meta, all of the information that was being shared with us was mostly via social media, right? So even though he was talking about metaverse and a world that probably didn't fully exist at that point, or the product wasn't ready entirely, but the entire promotion of that entire potential product that is going to be in our hands very soon was kind of promoted on social media, right? So you can sort of create a teaser video with regards to what you're doing, and obviously towards the end of it, like create an entire content marketing strategy around how you will sort of sell your application, or probably how you will make your entire application sort of ready for the end consumer, right? Now I'd like to quickly come to the JioGlass's market positioning, right? So we sort of spoke about how do you kind of market your applications, right? But for you to also be able to better market application, you need to understand where we as JioGlass exist in this entire spectrum, right? So we've got multiple competitors in this space like Whiteboard, Oculus, Magic Leap, Microsoft HoloLens, right? So if you look at this graph, right, on one side we have games and entertainment applications, and on the other side we have learning, health, productivity, and shopping applications. So if you look at JioGlass, right, we're sort of in between all of these things, because while our peers have an abundance of games, right, like Oculus, HTC Vive, have so many games, or enterprise applications like HoloLens and Magic Leap, right? We're much more than that. JioGlass is a market-driven mixed reality innovation that caters to every user, which confines inside of an average household, right? So with JioGlass, so far the application platter that we've built of about 150, 200 applications. They have applications from multiple categories: games, entertainment. We've got learning applications. We've got productivity applications. So there's just not one sector that we're looking at, and we're also working on like some large scale enterprise use cases as well. So that's where health and a lot of these things also sort of come to play on a regular basis. We have a lot of developers joining us today, right? So I know you might think that what are some of the large scale potential B2C use cases, right? So like I mentioned, we're also launching 5G internet very soon in India within the next couple of months. So what the 5G plus something like a JioGlass will enable is like a lot of capabilities for us to kind of explore the metaverse or explore things that we've sort of not experienced so far, right? So these are some potential large scale B2C use cases that we're sort of brainstorming with the Jio 5G team here. One of my personal favorites is this large scale B2C use case that we're working on, which is music collaboration, right? Just to let you all know, 5G as an internet is extremely fast, right? The latency on 5G is sort of down to like 5 milliseconds right now. And 5 milliseconds is really kind of almost live, listening someone live, right? So I was just reading something regarding this on the internet, and I found out that even if you're sitting in the same room with about 5 feet distance apart, right, with someone, there's still like a 5 millisecond to 10 millisecond delay between what you're hearing versus what that person is saying to you. So now coming to 5G internet, we've gotten it down to like five to 10 milliseconds for 5G, right? So something like music collaboration, where probably you wearing the JioGlass or probably logging in from your web app or your mobile app, you just come on board and sort of start jamming with other musicians, because all of your instruments kind of the sound of your instruments can be sent over internet in real time without any form of lag, right? Then we've got live darshan. This is something that the senior citizens could really benefit from. So we're trying our best to kind of build like this platter of live darshans that you can do, right? Then we've got sports coaching, we've got travel and tourism, we've got multi-screen productivity. So right now, while we were doing customer trials, right? So this is something that came up during customer trials, where we sort of learned that a lot of people want to just use the JioGlass to be able to sort of get multiple screens in front of them and get all of their work up and running, right? So this one, then celebrity interaction. So these are some of the large scale use cases that we're sort of working on at this point. Coming to what's in it for the developers, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a Dev Connect session, and we want to sort of create opportunities for developers, right? So firstly, one of the base things that we're doing is that we have a 70-30% revenue share for any form of revenue that can potentially get generated on the JioGlass's App Store, right? So revenue for any form of application on the store can come in the form of in-app purchases or any form of premium subscriptions, right? So in that case, as a monetary opportunity for the developer, you get to keep 70% and we get to keep 30% of it, right? Now, for a developer, right, why should you build for this particular space, right? It's, I would say, the market opportunity, right? So as we're moving into this entire XR revolution, right? Right now, we already have about 50 million Jio-powered households. We already have about 20 million Jio fiber-powered enterprises. And potentially very soon, once we have launched 5G, sometime this year, we're hoping to onboard like another set of 10 million customers very soon. So we're sort of looking at approximately like a 90 million market size of people that can potentially use JioGlass, right? Because all of these households have internet connectivity that kind of supports JioGlass, right? Like, so we've got so many people using fiber and potentially a lot of people getting onboarded on sort of Jio 5G as well. So yeah, so that's like the potential opportunity that there. You have the ability to touch so many consumers in the Indian market, right? And like I mentioned, XR experiences powered by 5G are going to be seamless because we've got super low latency, we've got portability anywhere and everywhere. You can sort of use reliable internet connectivity anywhere in the country. We've got great accessibility, and then because this entire experience as a whole that we're trying to create with JioGlass is sort of extremely immersive. And currently, we are sort of the fastest growing developer community in this particular space right now. We've already onboarded like close to 150 applications. This currently shows 100, but like just in the last couple of months, we've onboarded another 50 applications, and we plan to go to market very soon. So if you're a developer here, I would really encourage you to kind of sort of apply for the developers program and kind of get started with us, right? So I hope this was useful for you all. So we have a verified partner program currently. So what this verified partner program is basically, we've over the last year or so, we've had multiple companies sort of come and build applications for us, right? So we were able to sort of understand the capability of that particular company. So based on that, we've created this list called the Verified Partner Program. So we as Jio, right, what happens is that a lot of times, a lot of big companies sort of reach out to us and let us know about their aspirations of moving to the Web3 or the metaverse space, right? But mostly those conversations sort of don't end anywhere because we're not able to provide them with the right resources to kind of take their application into development, right? So that's where we thought we can create another stream of opportunities where we can have something like the Verified Partner Program, where we have this list of developers that are verified from our end. And every time we get this project from, say, any of our Reliance Industries internal team as well, right? So because even inside Reliance Industries, we're spread across so many multiple kinds of companies. So every time we sort of get a request for any kind of app development that a company would potentially want to take up, we then connect them to our verified partners. So I would like to bring in this one verified partner that we have with us here today, Amit Gulati, who happens to be the co-founder of XReal Tech. So Amit Gulati has been there through this entire cycle for us. He's sort of built some really amazing applications. Amit, if you're here already, I would really appreciate if you could probably share your journey with regards to the entire verified partner program, or just in general, what was your experience of building for the JioGlass platform?
My name is Amit Gulati, and I'm the co-founder and CTO of XReal Tech. And we are in the process of building the next generation digital experiences. So, just to brief you on our journey as an organization with Jio and the developer relations team. So far it has been a fantastic experience. Right? From my experience, I can tell you that I signed up for the developer program and was a bit skeptical because I'd signed up for a few other, developer programs. For example, some of the other companies who are also planning to launch their glass headsets, and I signed up for a couple of them, but I never heard back. Right? So I was a bit skeptical in the beginning. So I signed up for the program, and immediately I heard from the dev relations team, from Mr. Abhishek Julka, and he reached out to me, and we had a discussion, and we discussed the capabilities of our organization. I've been in the industry for the last 20 years. building visualization systems, and was really interested in AR. So Abhishek reached out to me and said, let's had me submit proposals for applications. And again, I'll tell you, I was again, so he was very proactive and kind of helping me and pushing me to come with a concept, because in our day-to-day lives, although we're interested in doing something, but all of that gets lost in the firefighting of the day. So we submitted our idea, and which was just an idea I came up with in a discussion with my daughter. So I had an 8-year-old daughter, and she was doing a presentation for a school for different monuments, and I was doing research for her with her. And I realized that there's nothing. Most of the pictures and videos we see are mostly 2D. There's no like a 3D app, or at least a good one. So I gave the concept to Abhishek, and it was approved, and we started working on it. We started the development process. The HoloBoard was shipped to us, and the HoloBoard, so the first day I was working with my team to set up on the HoloBoard. We struggled a bit, and so I was a bit discouraged that we're not even able to run the application on the HoloBoard. And I called Abhishek. He said, why don't you get in touch with my team on the Discord channel? So although I'd signed up for the Discord channel, but was not using very actively, and I just put up a message. Within like 10 minutes, I got a response, and the dev team helped me, and took like 5 minutes for them to give me the right settings for the HoloBoard, and we had the app running on the HoloBoard. And so again, kudos to the dev relations team and the team on Discord. They're very, very active. And again, I can tell you because we've also signed up for another company for their glass, and we actually we were developing, but the community that they have, we would post questions, but it would be weeks before we get any answer from the dev team. And with Jio, we're getting immediate responses. And the SDK itself is so easy to use. I mean, again, this is from my experience, because we built a glass app for multiple platforms. Jio platform is really great, right? So the abstractions provided by Jio SDK are really makes life easier for the developer. And then you have the help from the Discord team. So we were stuck in one place trying to get the controller interaction working correctly. And again, within a couple of hours interaction with the dev team, we were able to get things working. So on the whole, my experience has been very, very positive, and we've gotten the help. The team has been very patient and answering our queries, giving us help, providing us with whatever is required. And again, I remember in the earlier days, I used to just put the APK on the Google Drive or the the Microsoft shared folder, and Abhishek would review it and give me feedback. And then now we have the portal, right? So you can submit your builds, and they are reviewed and updated, and your app within I would say within hours is available on the Jio store. And so far for me, so we've built the Air Monuments app, and we have other applications also under planning. And so I can say from personal experience that so far it has been a fantastic journey for the Jio program.
Great. Thank you so much, Amit, for sharing your experience. I feel companies like you are sort of like what we aspire to work for every now and then, right? So we have so many aspiring developers or companies sort of joining this program. So them hearing out your story would really help them and sort of motivate them to kind of come
Absolutely.
on board.
So again, I was a bit skeptical. How would the relationship work? Whether it be just Jio kind of telling me what to do, but it has been a great collaborative effort, because we get really good feedback based on the from the team, some of the consumer feedback in that, and then the Jio team is very open to provide us what could be the possibility, because see, as a company, we have a mindset, and we have our own set of features that we're focused on.
Yeah.
But when we get new ideas in terms of what is the potential and what can the app become in terms of gamification, monetization, all of those ideas which come from the team are very, very useful. And they've helped. And again, our app is still under development. We are adding new content. As you said, that content drives engagement. So we're building new content for the application, and hopefully we are eagerly awaiting the market launch for the JioGlass. And again, I think I'm personally, been a graphics guy for a long time. I'm really excited to see where we can go with this this platform.
Great. Thank you so much, Amit, for sort of sharing your experience. I think this will really help everyone a lot. So thank you so much, everyone, for like hearing us out throughout, right? Like the entire session where Karan sort of came on. Then I sort of took you through the entire development journey, right? How do you sort of what we're doing at Jio Tesseract as a company, how to sort of build your initial app concept, submit it to us, and get to like a consumer ready phase, and also sort of really get your application to a lot of people, right? So Karan, I would love it if you could just give some ending remarks. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Part of a closing note, right? For developers looking to enter, build, create, lay building blocks for the Indian metaverse, XR application development through the JioGlass platform offers a unique opportunity to you all. The platform can help you build immersive content for the next billion internet users, empowered with limitless possibilities. And at JioTesseract, we're trying to build the similar ecosystem, right? So join this revolution, because XR isn't just a thing of the future, it's already here to stay. You can also share your questions to us on our social handles. Once again, on behalf of JioTesseract, I would like to thank you all for being an amazing audience. Thank you, guys.